A mother cat was sitting near a drain pipe on a quiet street, and she looked deeply worried. Her eyes were filled with concern, and she refused to leave that spot no matter what. A man was walking down the same street when he noticed her unusual behavior. She was carrying a tiny kitten in her mouth, and something about the way she moved told him that she needed help. He felt curious and concerned, so he decided to walk closer to see what was troubling her. When he reached the spot where she was sitting, he looked at her more carefully and got the biggest surprise of his life. This was not just any stray cat that needed rescue. She was his own beloved pet who had disappeared from his home 5 months ago. He had searched everywhere for her during those long months and had almost lost hope of ever seeing her again. Now here she was, sitting right in front of him with a newborn kitten. His heart filled with so many emotions at once. He felt relieved that she was alive, happy that he had found her, but also worried because she looked so different from before. He knelt down beside her and gently touched her soft fur to let her know that he was there for her. She recognized him immediately and seemed relieved to see a familiar face. Looking at her body, he could tell that life on the streets had been very hard for her. She had lost weight and her coat was not as shiny as it used to be. He quickly took out a creamy treat from his pocket and offered it to her because he knew she needed food and energy. She ate it gratefully while the tiny kitten stayed close to her side. The kitten was very small and looked only a few days old, but seemed healthy enough considering the difficult circumstances it was born into. Just when he thought he understood the situation, the mother cat suddenly stood up and ran across the street. His heart sank because he thought she might be running away from him again. He immediately followed her, calling out to her and hoping she would not disappear back into the neighborhood. But as he ran after her, he realized something important. She was not trying to escape. She had a purpose, and she was trying to show him something that mattered greatly to her. She stopped near a ramp on the other side of the street and began meowing loudly. He caught up with her and looked around the area carefully. That is when he discovered another kitten hiding near the ramp. The little one was alone and cold, but had been waiting patiently for its mother to return. The mother cat looked at him as if making sure he had seen the kitten, and then she took off running again. This time she headed straight toward the drain pipe where he had first found her. He followed her once more, understanding now that she was leading him somewhere specific. She stopped at the entrance of the drain pipe and looked back at him. He carefully approached the opening and peered inside the dark space. His eyes slowly adjusted to the darkness, and he could make out a shape against the cold concrete. There was another kitten inside the pipe, huddled against the wall and shivering from the cold temperature. The poor little one looked miserable and was shaking uncontrollably. He knew he had to act quickly to help this kitten. He carefully reached his hand into the drain pipe, moving slowly so he would not scare the tiny creature. His fingers gently wrapped around the small body, and he lifted the kitten out of its cold prison. He held it close to his chest, sharing his body warmth with the trembling baby. The kitten felt ice cold against his skin, and he could feel its little heart beating rapidly. He knew this little one had been suffering in that drain pipe and needed immediate warmth and care. While he was helping the kittens, a neighbor who lived nearby came over to see what was happening. She told him that she had noticed the mother cat arrive in the area about 4 months earlier. The cat was already pregnant at that time and was clearly searching for a safe place to give birth. She had chosen the drain pipe as her shelter because it offered some protection from the weather and from potential dangers. The neighbor had tried to help by leaving food outside whenever she could, but the mother cat was very cautious and would not let anyone come too close to her. She had given birth to her kittens inside that drain pipe and had been doing her best to keep them safe and fed all by herself. The neighbor was happy to see that someone was finally able to help this little family because she had been worried about them, especially with the weather getting colder. The man felt grateful for this information because it helped him understand what his cat had been through during the months she was missing. He looked at the mother cat with new respect and admiration. She had survived on the streets while pregnant, given birth in a cold drain pipe, and had been taking care of her babies all alone. Despite all these challenges, she had kept all her kittens alive and had even managed to stay alive herself. She was a strong and devoted mother who had done everything possible to protect her little ones. Now it was time to bring this brave family home where they belonged. He carefully gathered the mother cat in his arms while making sure all her kittens were safe and accounted for. The mother cat seemed to understand that she could finally relax because she was back with someone who loved her. He made a quiet promise to himself and to this little family as he prepared to take them home. They would never have to face another cold night alone. They would never have to search for food or worry about finding shelter. He would take care of all of them and give them the love and security they deserved. This family had been through so much together, and now they would have a forever home where they could be safe and happy. The journey of this mother cat and her babies is a powerful reminder of the strength and determination that animals show when they are fighting for survival. It also shows us how important it is to pay attention to animals in need and to take action when we see them struggling. If this rescue story touched your heart and made you feel something special, please take a moment to share your ideas for names for these little survivors in the comments section. These babies deserve beautiful names that reflect their brave journey. Make sure to subscribe to hear more amazing rescue stories about animals who find their way to safety and love. Every animal deserves a chance at a better life, and every rescue story deserves to be shared with others who care about making a difference in the lives of animals in need.